Hello and welcome to the Leaky Cauldron's newest segment, the Magical Emporium, with me, Guinness World Records title holder, Victoria McLean. Now, as you are aware, last week marked the 21st anniversary of the Battle of Hogwarts, and unfortunately in that battle we lost some of our most beloved characters, including Remus Lupin, Nymphadora Tonks, Lavender Brown, Colin Creevey, Fred Weasley, and of course Severus Snape. Now please, let's all raise our wands in remembrance of those wonderful and heroic characters from the wizarding world that we love so much. Now, I can't help bring those beloved characters back from the wizarding world. That is not within my power. However, I can help you to protect your collectibles within your own home. So if you're interested in how to protect your collectibles, then keep on watching. Now, for those of you who don't know me, hello. Hello, nice to meet you. I am the Guinness World Records title holder for the largest Wizarding World collection in the world. That means that I have 3,686 items. Here is my certificate that I got on the, I actually received this, I think it was around the 21st of March, but I actually found out on my birthday, the 14th of March, that I won this certificate, that I actually was the new Guinness World Records title holder. Now this means that I have officially listed items, 3,686 items within my collection. Now the biggest question that I get asked is, where do you keep it all? I'm not rich. I don't live in a big mansion. I live in a normal 3-bedroomed house with 4 people, with my 3 children, with my 2 children, my husband and myself. I do have 3 children, but my eldest has moved to London. She's just finished working on Star Wars, so very, very proud of that. So yes, the biggest question I am asked is, where do I keep it all? Now, the answer is everywhere. It is all over my house. See a fair amount behind me here, and there is plenty elsewhere around the house. Now, I keep looking up because this camera keeps going out of focus, so I want to double check that it is actually in focus. So it's behaving now. Good, I'm glad. Let's continue. Now, I have a lot of items in my attic. Now, people think this is a great place to keep your items, but it is if you do it properly. Unfortunately, a lot of the Harry Potter items, the packaging and so on, comes in cardboard. It is cardboard based, which means it's very, very, very delicate and can damage very easily, or go moldy very easily, or get damp very easily. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but your attic is actually stone cold. Now, in the summer, yes, it gets very warm and so on, but in the winter, your attic is really, really cold. Your house might be lovely and warm, but that's because you've got you should have a very thick layer of insulation between the ceiling of the upstairs and your attic space. Now, that obviously keeps the heat down, and then the heat, and then all the cold then remains in the attic. Putting things in the attic is fine, but you need to do it carefully. Now, here are my steps. Step 1, put your items in a box. Now, the boxes are best because they are obviously solid shape, which means that you can pile them in, you can put them all in rows and so on, but then they don't crush, they don't move, they stay solid in that box, regardless of what they are. Step 2, put a plastic bin bag with no holes, as in you get this, the shopping bags, and they've got all holes around the bottom. They have to for health and safety. Bin bags don't have that. The only hole that you have is the top where everything goes in. Put your items in that bin bag. Step 3, use sellotape to seal the bag. Seal it over the top, make sure that everything is sealed. So literally, if you squeeze it, air isn't going to get out of it. Make sure that that is a sealed bag. This is because when the bag is sealed in plastic, no dampness can get in. No matter how cold that room gets, there is no damp that is going to get in. And even more important, if God forbid you get a leak in your attic, no water is going to drip on those valuable items, because how often do you go up in your attic? You could be having a drip up there for weeks, maybe even months. Very, very, very slow drip, drip, drip onto those very, very valuable items. You're there thinking, oh, I've got a first edition upstairs. Oh my God, it's perfect. Yep, it's perfectly safe up in the attic. You got there 6 months later and it is ruined. Make sure that you do those tips, those 3 important tips if you're storing things in your attic. That is what I do. I can't afford all this expensive packaging. So everything goes in either a cardboard box or a plastic box, and then that box goes into a black bag or a recycling bag or so on and so forth, and then sellotape, and then I seal the entire area. I always put a piece of paper on there, black Sharpie, and I write just a brief description of what is in that bag or box. That way I've sealed it all up. I don't need to go ripping it open again to find something that I'm looking for. I can see it there. So for example, upstairs in my attic, I've got black bags filled with packaging, with Harry Potter packaging, because I've been told that your items are far more valuable if that packaging is in mint condition. Now, I don't just mean the cardboard box it comes in, I also mean maybe the polystyrene inside packaging or the plastic wrapping that went around your item inside the box itself. So make sure that you look after those as well, because that is paramount to collecting items. Okay, next on to tip number 2, important tip number 2. Now this is a big one. Me and Alima know all about this one, and sadly I have felt this one firsthand, so I've learnt my lesson. The sun is a powerful, powerful star, okay? That sounds really silly, but it's very powerful, all right? That star can do an awful lot of damage to your collectibles. A hell of a lot of damage to your collectibles, and it's so gradual that you don't notice till it's too late. I had a gorgeous picture of an autograph from J.K. Rowling on a card, beautiful, stunning. Kept it on the wall in the homework room for ages, didn't even think about it. It was safe on the wall, looked brilliant where it was, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I took it down and I took a closer look at it quite a while later, and the autograph has faded terribly because it was in direct sunlight. You do not put your collectibles in direct sunlight. For somebody like me, it's very hard not to, because I have so much stuff. It's very hard unless I had a mansion that I could have a couple of massive rooms with like no windows at all blacked out to the outside world, then I would be so happy. Sadly, that is not an option. This is the item. It is a letter from J.K. Rowling's publicist in Edinburgh, or her office is in Edinburgh, and everybody who wrote to her got sent one of these cards. This was years ago now, and this was 2011. This was the first one I received. This was hung up in the homework room, and this, can you see that? You can just about make out J.K. Rowling's autograph there. Now sadly, that can't be hung up anymore because I can't risk it anymore. That's the only autograph I have of J.K. Rowling's, and I need to treasure it with my life. There is ways round it. For example, my Guinness World Record has no glass, no plastic, nothing touching that certificate. However, there is a product called Glow Glass that you can have fitted to frames. I'm very tempted to get this one fitted with it, so your items behind that glass will not fade. So this will stay as pristine as the day I received it. So how many of you out there collect the Harry Potter figures in boxes? So I'm on about those sealed figures. There is a special plastic casing that you can actually get from places like eBay, that you put your cases, that you put your figures in, and the case shuts around it. So it's almost like a second skin for your collectibles. I had so many of them when I was collecting, so I was a huge collector of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I had the biggest collection of that, believe it or not, but I didn't have a Guinness World Record for it. But back then I had so many of them, and all of my Buffy the Vampire Slayer figures were tucked away in these plastic boxes, so they're clear, so you can still display them, but they're really good for possibly just giving them a second skin to make sure that they don't get damaged, because obviously, as you all know, with collecting, the packaging for figures, anybody, for figures is paramount to keep it mint condition. Mint, mint. No scuffs, no bends, no tears, no nothing. That packaging will be in mint condition. So they are a really, really good source to get. There's a couple of great products that you can buy from places like Wilkinson's, for example, that are basically from any kind of retailer that sells storage boxes. You can buy that clip in positions. I'll try and put a picture up here of something that I mean. They're great for kind of stacking items as well. So if you get all these boxes, they're normally really good at being stacked. A lot of my items though, one of the boxes that I've been using a lot at the moment is the Loot Crate boxes. When you get the Loot Crate boxes, if you watch my latest Loot Crate unboxing in there, I actually show you that if you undo the boxes, they actually are redesigned on the inside, so you can have them as like storage boxes. So they're almost like shoe boxes, if that makes sense, but nicer. And they've always got like a Harry Potter inspired theme. This one was the Fantastic Beasts book cover from the films, so it's a really, really nice idea. But I use a lot of those to store my things. Another thing I use to store my items is trunks. Lots of like, you know, like clothes trunks. I've got quite a few of those. They're very, very kind of, you know, Fantastic Beasts and Newt Scamander-ish. So I love those at the moment. So I've been putting everything and anything in there. Displaying your items as well is a very important part. Now, as you can see behind me, I have these Harry Potter displays here, and they're all beautiful behind, and I've got 4 glass cabinets. These are my glass cabinets. Now, my husband actually has some fantastic Star Wars ones as well, so we have 6 of these in total. These are actually £40 from a place called IKEA, and I'm sure you've heard of it. £40 from IKEA, and the lights are £10. However, the lights aren't brilliant. Now, I try not to put them on too often because any sort of light source, anything even like these LED lights, can fade your items over time. So I don't have them on very often, literally for videos at the moment, or in the winter when it gets really, really dark and we want a little bit of extra light in here, I will turn them on. Otherwise, I try and not turn them on at all. There's not much light coming through them. They're not as powerful as the sun, obviously, but they do create, they do fade items over time. So you have to be really careful. You can get LED lights. I will have to try and figure out what they're called, find out what they're called, but you can get LED lights that are very, very good. They're museum quality ones, they are. They're the ones, the style ones that they put in cabinets in museums to protect the items in the glass cabinets. So that's a really, really good idea. So how many of you have any of the Harry Potter Lego sets? Now, this is a really good trick that my friend Sean Valentine of Valentine's Miniatures taught me. I think it's brilliant. Now, if you have put a Lego set together, especially my Hogwarts castle, you can see there, this is all my Lego up here, but my Hogwarts, and my wands, my Hogwarts castle is huge. And extremely, extremely delicate. Now, unfortunately, you can't get a duster and start dusting around these items. Even the big dusting brushes with all the feathers like this, they are not suitable because unfortunately those items, those Lego pieces, are extremely delicate unless you glue it together. Don't recommend that though, because the super glue will actually burn through the Lego. And if you use one that is good on plastic, it will still leave a white residue on the Lego bricks, so don't do it. Just put it together and leave it like that. However, these items are so difficult to dust. The best tip I have ever been given by Sean is use a makeup brush. It's so simple to just dust around those little items to clean it. It is so good, and just to brush it on the floor and then you clean it up from there. It is the best tip I have ever been given. This is a time turner makeup brush. I actually had quite a few sent, but when they arrived, they were all broken. I was gutted. But this has to be one of the best tips I have ever been given for anything like that. I use these makeup brushes to clean my Harry Potter miniature cabinets by Sean Valentine. That's how I was told about it. He's so talented. If you look at my Victoria McLean YouTube channel, there's some fantastic videos on there about my cabinets, which are one of a kind. Each item is one of a kind, and I think their value in total now is probably about 7,000 plus pounds, because they are so rare and so beautifully made. So yes, definitely check out those videos, they're great. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Magical Emporium from the Leaky Cauldron and presented by me, Victoria McLean. If you want to get to know me better, please check out my Victoria McLean YouTube channel. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat and Facebook. Until next time, take care. I love you all. Bye bye.